Everyone, welcome back to the Meaningful Connection and Contribution series. I have really been enjoying doing this series so far because we have been focusing on exactly what the roots of the series is meant to focus on, which is authentic connections, us coming to the table, being humans who are flawed, but also loving and caring and wanting to contribute to this world. And in this small business edition, we are really kind of pulling back the curtain a little bit, not to do a behind the scenes of the business like other folks do, but to do a behind the scenes to get an idea of who the human is, the human behind the business. Now, of course, you're going to get to learn about the wonderful businesses that these folks run, but to see the human, to hear the human, to better understand the human behind the business helps us elevate beyond just the transactional level of business and reincorporate the meaningful interaction level of business. And the folks that have come in for this interview series have really aligned with that. And there's no exception here today because Andrew, I know that you agree with that too. Thank you so much for being here with us today. I'm so glad to have you.
It's a pleasure to be here, Toni.
Yes. Andrew, tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, and what you do.
Very good. Well, I'm Andrew Cannon, and I actually live in Finland, which is one of the happiest countries in the world, according to the research, but we might go into why that's a little bit of a misnomer later. But anyway, so I'm from Finland, but English originally, spend most of my time in America these days because that's where my business is focused. So my background is in market research and consumer understanding. So I spent most of my life trying to understand how people behave, think, feel, and translate that to businesses, how that can help them grow their businesses. But for the last 10 years or so, I've sort of been more focusing on the people rather than on the benefit to the businesses, and come across this little word called joy, and have been focusing my efforts on two joy-related businesses, one called The Art and Science of Joy, which is about helping adults find more joy in their lives. And alongside that, a charity, which I founded together with my business partner, Debbie Schlesinger-Hellman, called EQJoy, which is about empowering children to develop their emotional intelligence through the power of play.
Wow. And you know what I think is beautiful, Andrew? The way that I found you, like the way that I was connected to you was through this other beautiful human who we both know and love, who focuses on joy herself. And then when we connected, she connected us. It was just so aligned from the beginning. And I got to talk with you all on the art and science of joy. Later on, I learned about EQJoy and I'm like, can I love them anymore? Because this is awesome, right? Like to be able, and so my background is clinical social work as a psychotherapist, and I still do psychotherapy as well. But studying human behavior across the lifeline and what helps us to feel a sense of purpose and what doesn't, right? Like what detracts from that, what drains that, like that has been my life fascination. And to hear you talk about like, that's kind of been yours too, but in a business aspect is really intriguing to me. So I'm curious, what brought you, do you think, like to this line of work of bringing business and human behavior and psychology, mixing that together?
Yeah, it's interesting. So I don't really know. I mean, I fell into market research just coming out of university. I don't think anybody in that sector actually decided as a child that's what they want to do. We all sort of fell into it through different holes, but we all shared a passion and a curiosity for understanding people ultimately. And now my pleasure in being able to take that knowledge and all those skills I've learned over the years and apply that more to helping people understand themselves and looking at their own journeys to how they can build more joy into their lives is so rewarding. I wake up each day just feeling, yes, I get to do this. How lucky am I?
It really does feel that way, doesn't it? I mean, it's sometimes for me, it's hard to put words to, but there's when it's so connected to your purpose, and it sounds like it really is for you, like it's so connected to your purpose that there's this passion that fuels it. But you said that you didn't necessarily think this is what you would be. So did you know what you would be, or did you have a thought of what you wanted to be when you were younger?
No, I mean, when I was younger, I was very much, I think a product of a lot of people of my age, a product of what our parents wanted. Want to be successful. They didn't have very much coming out of the war. So they wanted us to, get a career, get a job, earn money. So I certainly went down that path of, being quite successful in business, but finding, even though I had all these external sort of signs of success, inside I was hurting, as finding that I wasn't really, doing things that were aligned with my purpose. So, I sort of, in my late 40s, sort of crumbled because of that, that misalignment. It just became so big, that gap in the end, that I couldn't look at myself in the mirror really at that point and justify what I was doing.
Yeah. I mean, I've lost count of how often that type of experience has been shared with me from folks of all different ages. And I think it's really important that we do talk about that, because the truth is that there are people out there right now, Andrew, maybe even listening into you and your story, that are feeling that way and feel trapped.
Absolutely. I think the research that latest I saw said, was it 4 out of 5 people dislike their job? And then other research said 1 in 4 people are intending to change their job in the next 12 months, half of whom were going to do something completely different, change their career, hopefully start doing a passion project. And I think that's, obviously very sad to begin with, that we've got created a society where so many people are spending the majority of their working hours saying, either I hate this, or I'm just neutral to this. So they don't wake up thinking, yes, I want to go to work today. Yes, I want to do this. But now it's encouraging, and I think partly the pandemic helped with that people started realizing that there are alternatives. We've created these very much, for many people, a monetary trap. I know I'm very careful when I talk about this, because there are lots of people, obviously, who are suffering financially and struggling with the cost of living, especially in today's world. But there's also, especially in business, when you get to sort of a leadership position, there's a lot of people that have created their own traps. I've got a friend who's very successful in his own business, but he gets so stressed because he doesn't feel he has enough, and he's scared of losing what he has. And those two things combined actually make him stressed, even though he's got 2 or 3 houses and God knows what else. But in his own mind, he's living in this stress trap that he's created, thinking that everything could crumble, everything could go away. And I think a lot of people are in that situation that they've ultimately created and can't find a way out. So it's great people like you are helping them find that way, find their purpose, and maybe change direction.
Sounds like you had an experience where you knew that you had to change direction. And I think that if you're open to sharing any part of what helped you, A, notice that was starting to happen for you, but then B, actually make that decision to start to shift or change in direction a little bit, because both of those things can be very scary, especially if you feel like you have done all the things and push yourself really hard to get to where you're at, which is supposed to be success. But then you get there and you're like, this doesn't make sense, right? Like I call that, external success, internal mess, right? Because you're looking like an outward success, feeling like an inward mess. You're like, what the heck? Like, this is not congruent. What is I did everything I should do, I'm supposed to do. What is happening here? And so that happened for you. What did you notice, and how did you ultimately make the decision to start to shift?
Yeah, I'm not sure I made the decision, so I wouldn't necessarily recommend anybody to go down my path of having that decision made for you. So that's part of the motivation from doing what I'm doing, is to help people, maybe hit their bottom a bit lower than they would have done if they just let things slide. So, creating that awareness that I didn't have. So no, I really went down. I didn't have sort of the brakes on. I was self-destructing when I look back at it. I just knew that I was in the wrong direction, but I had no idea what I should be doing or where I should. So I was just basically pressing the self-destruct button, both at work and in my private life. So yeah, I just ended up imploding or exploding, whichever way you look at it. But then, as luck would have it, I was offered an opportunity to walk down a different path, to find a different career, to find myself. And I suppose I had the courage to take that step, even if it was into that great unknown. It really was a leap of faith. So, the word I just had to myself was be open. Doesn't matter what happens, just be open. And then things started to happen slowly. So I think that was one of the things I'd recommend people, whatever they're thinking about, to be open and not closed to the opportunities that are constantly around you. And have those conversations with people you wouldn't talk to maybe normally. You don't know where they will lead and what wonderful opportunities could arrive from interacting with other people and being curious, asking questions, and saying yes. Gets you in a bit of trouble, but hey, that's okay.
I like how you use the words be open. Just this morning, I was writing a post around surrender, and it's this similar concept that you're talking about, right? When we're used to doing and going and like pushing ourselves really hard, we think we're in control. So surrender sounds like total BS. Like, please, no, thank you, go someplace else, right? Like surrender, no, not going to happen. But ultimately, we get these little hints in life that are like, are you sure? Are you sure? Question mark. And then folks like you and I ignore it, which, sounds like we both have in the past. It just gets bigger and bigger, right? Until finally we can't ignore it anymore. And it almost feels like you said, you're like, I didn't know that I had a choice necessarily. Like it just wasn't working that way anymore. It just was not working. And there's a sense of surrender.
Yeah, I mean, I think especially in business, I think back to my business life, and it's like a drug in many ways, right? When you start, succeeding and you start, becoming the boss, and people listen to you and ask your advice and that. So you're getting all of this ego feed happening all the time to you in business, which creates this illusion of control, I suppose, that we're talking about, that you think you've got it all sussed out. You think you've got it. And many people do, there are many people who go through life and don't have challenges, who cruise through it. And that's okay too. But I think, our message today is for those who are feeling something within them, within their gut, saying that, hey, I'm not where I'm supposed to be. I feel I should be somewhere else doing something else. And hopefully, our message will help them get a bit more courage to take that step forward or sideways. Anywhere is good, but not backwards, or indeed staying still isn't much of an option. So movement, I think, is super important, and to move with openness and surrender to the path, I think is super important.
Even though it's scary.
Absolutely. And I think it's, one of the challenges I faced was I had to do that alone. I didn't have to do it alone, I suppose, but I chose to do it alone. I felt I had nobody I could talk to about this. I had nobody I could confide in about what I was feeling or what I was doing. That made it doubly hard. So I think, one piece of advice I'll definitely have people is, find a buddy who you can talk to on this journey if you don't have one. I think that's super important, and whether that's just a friend or indeed a coach, it doesn't really matter, but somebody you can talk to, I think it would help me definitely speed up the process. I'm not sure it would have changed where I ended up, but it would have made it less painful perhaps to have had somebody there to talk to.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you shared that, because, a lot of times achievers, like you and I sound like we both are, right? So that are willing to go that extra mile, are willing to push themselves really hard, like they have a history of that. They do tend to be super independent. I was overly independent, to the point where we won't let other people in. Now we'll expect other people to trust us because we're super reliable and responsible, right? But like we won't let other people in. And so that can wind up us trying to go the healing path alone. I did the same thing when I started out. And there's nothing wrong or bad about that. But ultimately, if we want to deepen our relationships, there also has to be healing within the context of relationships. It will come. It will come at some point on your journey when you're ready. At least that has been my experience in those that I've worked with. Would you attest to that as well?
Yeah, I think so. For a lot of people I've talked to who've gone down this path, they do end up, once they've healed internally, then you turn to your relationships and you start evaluating, obviously family relationships, past partner relationships, current relationships, and you go down that next step of acceptance and perhaps forgiveness even of the mistakes that you made on your journey that you maybe do differently this time around. So I think that's also a super important part of the process, to forgive yourself essentially, for who you were and what you did on your own journey to this point, and not stay tied up in that, but to let it go, and be able to move forward from there.
And I want to say that this is not easy stuff, right? Like this is challenging stuff. This is stuff that people often are taught to view as like mushy, gushy, soft stuff. But this is hard stuff. Like this is powerful stuff. This is in psychotherapy, we call it like a limbic to limbic connection. If you experience hurt, trauma, or betrayal within a relationship, then to heal that hurt, trauma, betrayal, that needs to happen within a safe, secure, comfortable relationship. Now, the experience isn't going to be all comfortable because there's discomfort in that process, but the healing needs to happen in some kind of relationship at some point. If there was a lot of pain, trauma, or turmoil within a relationship that led to that. And there's really no way to get around that forevermore. We, at some point in our journey, we have to incorporate that for that healing to happen. And that can be, for me, it was really scary, and really hard, but also really healing.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. And one of the things I think the way the world is going, the more and more people seem, especially in business, to be more comfortable with authenticity. There's less of this mask needing to be held on, and I think that's super encouraging. I remember being at a CEO conference at the beginning of last year, and there was just some amazing authentic sharing going on, whereas if I'd taken my mind back pre-COVID, most of those same conferences were all about bravado and how well my business is going, and sales have never been so good, and blah, 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 blah. And now the masks are being let down, I think, by a lot of people, and saying, no, I had a bad quarter, right? I didn't know what happened, lost my two best salespeople. Anybody else experiencing that? And then people get to realize that they're also human. People in small business owners in particular often struggle, I think, because they're not really part of the employees, but they're also, not necessarily having a peer group that some people have in a bigger company organization, where they can. So I think a lot of small business people struggle with that, having to carry that burden alone, and they feel they can't talk to anybody, and maybe even their spouse. That's different, right? That's not work. They don't take their work home. They leave that at the office, so they end up struggling to deal with their challenges, which obviously, as we just mentioned, end up impacting them physically and mentally. The burnout or addiction problems start to happen if you don't deal with that inner trauma.
I agree. Yeah, I've seen that as well. And so your personal experiences led you into this different way where you co-founded the Art and Science of Joy and EQJoy. So can you tell us a little bit about both or one of those that you would really like to share with the audience so that they can better understand what it is you are sharing through your business?
Yeah, thank you very much, Tony. I'd love to do that. I think I'll give a go at doing them both very briefly. So let's start with EQJoy, which really came about from my own experience with my own daughter and our inability to manage our emotions in a healthy way. So I came up with a card game which helped us do that. And being a researcher, we then went and researched it and found out, oh, this actually works. The parents actually like it, the teachers like it, kids actually find it fun to play. And so we founded the charity, and now we work with different charitable organizations, provide them with free packs of the card game that they can use with their children. For example, foster kids, I think, is a good case study, where a foster child can take the foster to their new family and play the game and talk about emotions in that safe environment that you talked about. And to, I think, go deeper with the emotions and not just say I'm angry or I'm sad, but find out, no, I'm not really angry. I'm frustrated. I'm worried. I'm disappointed, which leads to me behaving angrily, yes, because I don't know how to manage that disappointment. But again, if we can make them aware, grow their vocabulary of what the different breadth of emotions are, pre-teen, I'd like to stress this pre-teen because most mental issues tend to happen in teenage years. So if we can help people pre-teen, I think that's really good. So we got this charities anyway, and we try and give these free to organizations who then give them out. So that's super fun and super
I love that.
Yeah, it's lovely. And then the Art and Science of Joy is really the main product we have there at the moment is something called a Year of Joy community, which is an online space where people can come in and each week be inspired to grow their joy muscle through different areas of joy. So, over the last few years, we did a lot of research into what drives joy and what detracts from joy. And we came up with sort of a joy recipe that people can use. The good news is there is a recipe. The bad news is it's not the same for everybody. So there's not a blue pill you can take. And the super bad news perhaps is that we can't do it for you. You have to do the work yourself, but we can guide you. And we have experts come on like you, Toni, came on, and help people in different areas of their life, whether that's belonging, their well-being, their sense of having positive impact, or indeed just having fun in those areas of their lives. We want to inspire and empower people to find more joy, but to do it in the community. And I think that's one of the things we're finding, that those who like the community find the community element to be super important, that they can share their experiences and connect with like-minded people as they go about trying to build more joy in their lives.
That's awesome. I mean, so I'm a psychotherapist, as I said. I also have 4 children, from 7 months to 13 years old. And then I also got to be a partner with you in the Year of Joy, in the Art and Science of Joy. And so I can speak to a little bit of all that you shared of how powerful all of that is and how important all of that is. I mean, for kids to be able to begin to label their emotions so they can be aware of them, so they can express them, so they can know what they feel like in their body. When we can teach kids that, we are helping the emotional intelligence of the world, because how many adults, most adults, they don't know that. They don't know that. And it's not necessarily any one person's fault. They weren't taught it. They weren't exposed to it. Or if they tried to do it, maybe they were shamed or blamed or told to shut up or whatever the case is. And so a lot of people just don't have the awareness of how to do that. So not only do the EQJoy cards help teach the kids, but the adults that are teaching the kids are also able to learn. And I think that that's beautiful. And then they go out there, there's a ripple effect because now the kids are doing it more. And then the adults that they interact with can hear that and maybe get curious about it. And I find that to be so beautiful and necessary. And again, as a therapist and mom myself, I see such power in that. And the Art and Science of Joy community was so fun to be a part of. My two main words this year are fun and meaningful. And my gosh, was that like fun and meaningful. Working with you all, I could feel your passion for the work that you're doing, and not just spreading joy for the sake of spreading joy, but really connecting back to your personal story. Like, it's because you care. It's because you've had painful experiences, right? And you know that stark contrast between that pain and that joy, and wanting to spread more and more of that.
Absolutely, and it's interesting when we research the community and we see that they're actually slightly less joyful than the population in general, which is interesting. We thought that they might be actually more joyful, but we've attracted people who are slightly less joyful, but actively looking for more joy in their lives. So really that empowers us to say, yes, we're actually, looking to help people who really do want to make that change. And it's not always easy, as you said, Tony. I mean, I think, especially if people are really struggling with their well-being, for example, it's hard to make that change, whether that's physical or your mental or emotional well-being. It is hard to start doing that. And therefore, that's why I believe the community helps. That when you find out other people like you, you're not alone. You chat, shared experiences, you can develop and get over that initial hurdle of this is too tough. I can't change. I can't do this. I think, as you probably find in your work, there's a lot of people who doubt themselves, who end up with this saying, I can't change. This is who I am. And I know change is not easy. Otherwise, we'd all be doing it and we'd be out of jobs. So, it really is important to recognize that you're going to stumble on this journey. It's like it's trying to go to the gym, and doing that on your own it's tough. It's tough doing it. So trying to do this in all areas of your life, it's really, really hard. And I love your two words, meaningful and fun, because once people have a good sense of well-being and a good sense of belonging, really the joy does come from purpose, from service to others. But to do it in a way that has fun in your life, right? That you actually enjoy the life, the journey. Because I think a lot of people also forget that simple aspect to, why not dance and skip instead of just, walking or running, enjoy the journey. It is a bit of a cliche, but it is so true.
It is for sure. So even along this more joyful journey, there are going to be trips, bumps, falls, right? Questions, curiosities, right? That's all a part of evolving in life, the opportunities for us to learn and grow. And so today I asked you to bring me a challenge that you are experiencing that I might be able to support you with, so I can meaningfully connect and contribute with you today. So what you got for me? What'd you bring?
Well, I have lots of challenges, but I think one that I struggle with at the moment really is focus.
Okay.
I do wake up in the morning with a million things to do, and I quite often find myself doing all those million things poorly. It's blistering from one to the other, bit like butterfly, and then looking at my to-do list at the end of the day, and then I didn't really do anything on it. So, any help you can offer to how I can maybe more focused without losing my fun, without losing passion.
Okay, so you are currently waking up in the morning, you have a large to-do list, and by the end of the day, you're looking back and you're feeling like, I didn't get as much done as I want, not really feeling productive. Like, was this really successful kind of thing? Something like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Do you currently have a way that you have been managing your schedule or your time?
The trick I've found that helps me at the moment, the most, is something I have struggled with, is sort of doing it in small bursts, giving myself a reward after, doing half an hour of a continuous task. If I actually get through the 30 minutes, then I make sure to reward myself for that before I end up just going down. So if I kept on going after an hour and a half, I'll be dead. My batteries would be empty, and then then I'd waste the rest of the day. So I found these little micro rewards, whether that's give myself a cup of tea, or doing a little bit of exercise, or going out and dance, putting on a music song I like for 3 minutes. I find that helps me to break things up and become more focused for that 30 minutes.
And there is, I mean, that's like classical conditioning, right? Like classical behavior training, that if we go pure behaviorist route, that's pretty typical, like rewards-based, incentives-based behavior. And there's nothing bad or wrong about that. However, it can set up like a precedence for yourself where like you have to reward yourself, and that can sometimes feel either self-defeating or frustrating. And so there's benefits to it, but it sounds like you're experiencing that there's also limitations to it, which is true. When you enter what is called a flow state, you could go for hours in this pure flow, and it can feel like that, and you're super hyper productive because your brain, your body, it's all aligned. Your nervous system is aligned and it's regulated, and it is supporting that point of focus that you're on. You got all the powers that be on your side, right? You're like, because it's all coming from this place of inspiration. And so we want to allow that, which means we do need some flexibility to allow that. We want to have an awareness of how to support bringing that flow in, right? So we have those parts, but also we do need some kind of container, and that provides boundaries. And it can be confusing to figure out, like, how do I have flexibility and flow and bound? Like, how do I do that, right? And you said this earlier in our conversation today, it's not cookie cutter, that's my words, but you said, it's not going to be the same for everyone, and it's not. There are those foundational pieces that I just said that are the same for everyone. Like the foundation, the way you incorporate it is going to be a bit different. When you wake up in the morning, is there any type of like go-to plan or mental or written procedure that you have currently in place that you are using for housing your to-do list?
No. And I suppose I always go down the road that, I think, as you know, I travel a lot. So my days tend to be extremely different. I haven't been to an office in 10 years. So I don't have much for a routine. So it often depends whether I'm going to be, traveling to an airport or on a beach, or am I going to be working, doing whatever. I find that because of that amount of chaos and sort of change that I have in every day of my life, I find it very hard to build routines, I suppose, into that. And also I hate routines.
Yeah. Well, but that's important for us to be aware of. So you do have some resistance towards putting a routine in place here, right? Now, have you ever gone to the grocery store when you're really, really, really hungry?
Yeah, I buy lots of things I didn't need. That's for sure.
Isn't that how it works, right? But okay, so same here. I'm like, I'm really, really hungry. Like, I'm just gonna get this and this and this. Now, contrastly, have you ever gone to the grocery store where you have your list, and maybe you're a little bit hungry, but like you have your list outlined of what you're going to get? Is that experience different?
Yeah, definitely. Although I have also been known to put carts in the middle of the supermarket and just walk out because I can't handle the routine of it.
Yes. So we have some resistance to routine and like structure, right? So we've got some resistance there, which might come in part from all of those years where you push yourself really hard to do what was expected of you and what you should have done. And then you did all of that and you reached external success, but internally you were like,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was known, I was even the guy who produced Excel plans for holidays, right? It's 10:15 and we're at the Eiffel Tower. It's 11:32. We're queuing for the Louvre, and so that was my modus operandus in those days, Excel to-do lists. And I think you're right. Part of my rebelling against that was that, that connects me so strongly to the old me and my old ways. So now, I rebel against that and say, no, I'd much rather.
So I call that the pendulum. Yes, I call that the pendulum thing, and I see it all the time. I mean, I certainly myself have experiences as well. So you were super, let's use the word rigid for lack of a better word, right? So super rigid in your structure and format for quite a while. And it felt like that backfired backfired against you, right? So if you have a pendulum and it's up here really high, what happens when you start to let go and you let go, right? Swings pretty intensely to the other side, right? And so now I'm like, oh, I don't want any structure. I want the freedom to do whatever the heck I want to do. Leave me be. I'm not going back there. Like that is no, right? But that's just swings it to the other extreme, then it could get stuck there. Right. So that's the pendulum. So what we want to do is we don't want it to get stuck in either way. We want to be aware of which side it's on, and we want to let it kind of naturally find a rhythm, because what happens when a pendulum gets to naturally find its rhythm, it will naturally time, right? It will naturally find a bit of rhythm in the middle, in the balancing of the both. Right. But if every time it goes up here, it gets stuck, and every time it goes up here, it gets stuck, then when we finally loosen it, it goes, brr, 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 right? So we just want to acknowledge, first of all, that that's what happens, and that's okay. So there's going to be a strong swing for a little bit. You're stronger up on this side. That's fine. You have some resistance because you don't want to go back to that side. You had a bad experience. That's fine. Like, that's okay. Some compassion for yourself there. And also, maybe, is there any part of you that feels like there's some appeal here to move in this place? Or does that feel too like, nope, nope, I'm good?
No, I mean, part of me recognizes that there are certainly benefits to getting down there into the more sort of balanced mode to doing that. So it's definitely something I'm keen to explore. But definitely feel I want to stay on this side of the swing to keep the freedom and not be trapped.
Yeah, so we just want that awareness of that's kind of where the things are at right now, right? And so what I would encourage you to do, and I have a free template I can send you. I call it my intentional scheduler. I created it. I'm happy to send that to you. I can put the link down there. Anyone can use it. It's free. But what I'm going to encourage you to do is in the morning to ask, do I want to walk into the grocery store hungry? This is figurative, right? It's like, do I really want to walk my day today super hungry without a plan? Or do I want to walk into my day today noticing when I have hunger, supported by a plan of what I'm going to buy? Because you were very clearly able to identify, when I walk into the grocery store and I'm really hungry and I have no plan, then I get a bunch of, like, I feel unproductive because I'm buying a bunch of stuff I don't need. But if I walk into the grocery store with too strict a plan, I just want to throw the white tie. Like, that's true, right? And so do I want to notice when I feel hungry and have a structure that supports that? Could I even want that? Is that okay for me to want that?
Yeah, I like that.
Is it? How does it feel right now?
No, it doesn't. I mean, this is a journey for me to still something I recognize and something that I can work towards, but I'm certainly not there yet. I think I'm still in my rebelling phase.
It's okay. That's okay. Right?
Yeah.
Like, there are some places in my life where I still have, like, I'm a little bit more up here too, right? Like I've noticed it, right? But if you can be aware of it and have some compassion towards yourself while you're there, knowing that you're not going to stay there forever. Because it's not healthy to be on either extreme forever, right? So you're not going to stay there forever, but it's okay that you're there right now. When you're ready, you'll maybe start to ask yourself, just start with that question. Am I walking into the grocery store hungry today, or just today? Just start each day. Or today, am I willing to notice when I feel hungry and write down a structure to support that? Loose structure. And to support you with that, like I said, I'll share the free template with you. It's totally up to you whether or not you use it. But if you do decide to use it, I would encourage you to only use one section of it. It's in sections. Only use one section of it to begin, because that's going to provide you that sense of more flexibility and freedom. If you try to use the whole template all at once with where you are at right now, you're not going to do it. you're not going to continue with it.
I think it's like going to the gym and being given a sort of a program that you've got to go through. It's give me a walk on the beach. I'm sort of there. And that's sort of,
Woo, never mind.
there you go. That I can do. Yeah, and I think, the other thing I recognize, related to this is that, I've got to reduce the amount of things on my plate. So that's something also that, I'm sort of working on. I realize, do I have to do this, or can I trust? And we've just taken on a couple of new team members, and I'm being very conscious to break the old patterns of the ways of working and to give more responsibility to the new people and to let them run with it more. And that feels really good. So I think that's also, again, a lot of business people get into that trap of wanting to be in control and micromanaging, and then people end up delegating upwards to you. So being conscious of that, I think, helps, and let me reduce the number of plates spinning can definitely help them with the focus as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Andrew, thank you so much for being here with me today, for sharing vulnerably and authentically. I think that is what we need more of in this world. And so I really, truly appreciate that. It's not the easiest thing to do, but it's an incredibly important and powerful thing to do for you, for me, and for all of us.
Yeah, and I that's what I just hope, that some of the people listening get the inspiration from me to say, okay, I could also share my vulnerability, my story now. And it's scary the first time, for sure. Second time, third time, 100th time, it's not scary.
Absolutely. Andrew, any last things you would like to share about how folks could reach out to you, connect with you, if they would like to collaborate or work with you in any way?
Yeah, I mean, LinkedIn is probably the best way to connect with me in the business world. So Andrew Cannon, I think there's probably 3 or 4 that you'll get hits if you type that in. One's a skateboarder, so you probably recognize that's not me. One's a minister, so you might get confused with him, but I'm not a minister. So I'm the one with the joy, a bright yellow jacket on, so that'll give me away. So you connect me on there, obviously, EQJoy.org, the website, the card game, and then the art and science of joy.com for the Year of Joy community. And anybody who wants to check it out, it's not too late to join the community and start growing your own joy muscles. So welcome to connect with me.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And to everyone that's joined us either on the live stream on Facebook today, or if you're catching the recording on YouTube, thank you for spending your precious time with us. I do know that time is precious, and where you choose to spend it can make a difference, not just in your moment to moment or this hour or this day, but really in your lifetime, over the course of your life. So thank you for choosing to be with us here today. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Toni.